Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Hope everybody is doing well. I hope you guys are having nice weather. It's extremely cold here. But today I wanted to discuss the astrology spell because I have gotten some questions about it and I thought it would be best if I would just answer them here. So first of all, astrology spell is not a new spell for me. It was something that was in my offering for a while. However, I have had a period where I wasn't doing it because I was working on a new version of it, revamping it. So, as you guys know, it is quite a powerful spell, but I would not say that it's necessarily more powerful than the skull spell. It's just a different type of spell. So, skull spell and astrology spell are very different, and we're going to talk about how they're different, and you can kind of see which one would be better for your case. Extremely hard cases, I do advise doing both if you know your time of birth. If not, then absolutely we can manage without it. So, like I said previously, for the astrology spell, you need to know your exact birth time. Okay, so your exact birth time, which basically you can find in your birth chart. Sorry, birth chart, not in your birth certificate. Your birth chart is something else that is based on your time of birth, obviously. And not every country records birth times. It's going to depend on where you were born and the period you were born in. Unfortunately, not everybody will know their birth time, and this is why we are limited here because we can only do it for the people that do know their exact birth time. Birth time is basically the moment when the umbilical cord gets cut. So when the mother and the child get separated, that is when you are basically starting your life as an individual. Okay, so astrological spell works on your specific chart, right? Your natal chart or your birth chart, as you call it. We call it natal here, but yeah, it's the same thing basically. Um, on your birth chart and on your specific transits. So if you order the astrology spell, you will not get the specific day when it will be performed right away because, as you know, you get a day when your spell will be done, and you also get with the skull spell, it's done on the full moon only, so you know it's going to be done on the full moon. So basically, just a reminder, we have a full moon on February 1st. That's when I do the skull spell. The astrology spell, it's going to depend when the best transit for the specific cause you are looking for is happening, and it's going to be one of those that is within like half an hour or something like that. So it's not going to be something that lasts for days that we're going to be using for the astrology spell. So it's going to be very specific. And you know, you can wait for it for like up to 2 weeks. I don't know. It's going to depend. So keep that in mind. You will not get an immediate time. And the new version is done differently. Again, it's done only based on your chart and transits, and it also has some extra things, which is the reprogramming audio, which is going to be a lot different than the usual reprogramming audios because it's going to be adjusted towards this specific spell, obviously. And it is important to listen to it on a regular basis, just as you will be instructed. Now, let's talk about the differences between skull spell and astrology spell and which is best for which situation. So, the skull spell is basically a spell that works on your target only. And basically, in the skull spell, as you know, we have this candle that's shaped as a skull. Again, nothing scary. We all have a skull inside. I don't understand. I never did why people always think that, skulls are something, I don't know, scary. We all have them, right? It's normal. It's just our bone structure. I don't know. I just don't see the hype. Anyways, the skull candle represents the brain, the mind of your target. So what we do with a skull spell is that we work on changing somebody's mind, or like giving specific ideas to somebody's mind. As you know, you can choose your intentions with a skull spell, and often you will get those things. Your person will do those things, right? And it's such a wonderful spell. So it is best to be used on a stubborn target, on an avoidant target as well, on a target that where you have some kind of specific problem where you would really like for them to change their mind, or when the issue is between you something where changing their mind would be something that you would need to get back together or continue a relationship or whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be a love matter. Again, with neither of these spells, it needs to be romantic. You can do skull spells for family members, for co-workers, bosses, whoever, friends, whatever. And again, astrology can be done for any area of your life. It doesn't have to be a love issue, a romantic thing. But this is what people usually get done mostly, so this is why we're using that example. But keep in mind that if you're having some different type of issue, you can still use these spells. They are not characterized as specifically love spells. All of them are customized, so they can be used for anything. And then the astrology spell, this one, like I said, it works along with the planetary shifts, and it is not going to be working on specifically changing somebody's mind or specifically giving somebody specific instructions. So it's going to be working more in a way of the right timing, the right place. So you can listen to my example, the spell I did on myself, to kind of get the idea of how it might work for you as well. The previous two audios are about that. So basically, joining you together is what it does. So kind of like a love spell or any other type of spell that is not a skull spell, but more potent and more personalized. Again, if you don't have an extremely hard situation, you do not need to get the astrology spell. Other spells are really great, and they can work for you the same way this one can, but this is just more personalized and more potent. So it's if you are not having any luck with regular spells, or your situation is extremely bad, you can try this one. But like I said, it's gonna depend whether this is the right spell for you, or whether you need it on your situation, like I said. So it is more about joining you together in, sometimes we can do a skull spell, and the target, if they're extremely stubborn, even though they're going to get a lot of pushes to think about you and miss you and everything, they're not going to make any action. So sometimes something needs to happen so they would take that action. So this is where we have the astrology spell that can, for example, bring you at the same place. So they see you, and it's just harder for them to ignore the pushes they have had previously. Or it can, something else, some kind of different event can be happening, where again they will just decide, okay, I am gonna send a text. It doesn't have to be something where they see you in person. It can be something else that will just push them to do that. So that is the difference. I hope this makes sense. So they are extremely different. They work differently, and they're absolutely not the same thing. So for anybody who thinks that the astrology is just a more potent version of the skull spell, it absolutely is not. It is, I would say, the same in potency, but like works differently and works on different things. While the skull spell, like I said, is still the golden standard for stubborn avoidant targets. And they're both really great. They're both really great. All of the spells are really great. It just depends how you combine them and which ones are right for your situation. Yeah, so that is what I wanted to say about it. If anybody has some specific questions, you can always ask, as you know. And yeah, guys, we're gonna talk soon. Bye.